Well, the orange man got me. He finally got me. After the past 10 years of me talking so much shit about him, warning people about him, warning minorities, warning marginalized communities that he's dangerous, that he's gonna hurt us, he finally got his lick back on me. Good for him. I got an email yesterday from the HR of this government agency that I applied to and got hired for. I got an official offer letter maybe a month ago. I've been in the hiring process for about a month. And I got the official email yesterday that my offer was rescinded because of the president's hiring freeze memorandum for civilian people who are being hired into the federal government. There is a current freeze. So the orange dictator in chief got his lick back on me. Good job, Donald Trump.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I'm just to tell you, go check on your federal worker friends, your students that are in school, check on them. I literally have had 2 job offers rescinded. I literally got told in class last week, we have to change the name of my course. Like, you guys, this is serious. And if you don't feel like this affects you, then you need to go read some of the other orders he's passed. This affects everyone in America. Not just me because I'm a black woman, and not just so-and-so because she a white woman. This affects us as American citizens. This is changing how we go about doing all of our jobs. The next thing he's going to do is literally get rid of the Department of Education. Then what y'all gonna do? Y'all teachers is already on strike. Like, this is every American citizen, not just one because of race. Like y'all saying no discrimination. Okay, well, all American citizens need to stand up because this affects you.
I'm still trying to figure out why ain't they called a recession yet. Let's talk about it. So every job right now is on the hiring freeze. I done applied for multiple jobs. One straight up told me, I just heard another college is on a hiring freeze. So we have thousands of people getting laid off. But the company's on a hiring freeze, which doesn't make sense to me because a lot of companies made record profit. Now, this is what's stressing me out. You got some motherfucking tariff shit going on. Y'all fucking, these old fucking men in charge. Battle of the motherfucking tariffs, and the motherfucking pay has not increased. So, not only you pissing off the other countries, you pissing off the American people. This shit look like it's about to be the purge. Like, I feel like they don't try to bomb us, and then we gonna be fighting our government, and that's the scary thing. When you join the military, matter of fact, that TV show, Paradise, any movie you watch that talks about the end of the world, the zombie apocalypse, you are not joining the military to protect the American people. You are joining the military to protect the elites. So the only way we would gain control as far as the American people is if the police and the military say, we not fighting nobody, and they turn over. Like right now, I feel like everything is happening because they forced a recession, like they said. And all y'all 18-year-old, 19-year-olds that just got out of high school, they gonna make it difficult. They making it difficult right now so you can't get a job and you join that military. Because see, we ain't got enough people to fight Russia. We ain't got enough. And the way y'all TikToking and dancing, baby, we ain't really worth 2 nickels. That's why I thought they wanted to get immigrants over here to trick them into joining the military so they'll fight and lose their life. Like the government is slick, and right now they trying to force these young kids to get off social media. That's why they want TikTok and join that motherfucking military. Because if you don't think that all this shit is planned, so we can't get no jobs, you got all these companies laying off. So what you think people gonna do? The only place the motherfucker hiring is the goddamn military. They ain't slick. Like, they forcing a recession, forcing people to join the military. You go over there and you die for a motherfucking country that ain't worth 2 nickels. Like, the shit is a revolving door. Like, I don't know, all these end of the world movies, it just feel like we at the end. We really do. Like, it's like everybody want to bomb us. You got Canada mad, you got Mexico mad, you got motherfucking Russia mad, you got Ukraine mad, you got China. Goddamn, they about to triple dipple team on our ass. And I just want to say, as Black American, shit, we ain't got nothing to do with it. Now I tell you what, I bet you there's some black wealthy people at the top, but it's funny because they low key. But man, I'm telling you, man, this shit, too much shit going on. And I tell you what, I'm glad I'm too old to join, broke down to join, because I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't do it. You had to go and give me my little 5 years in the penitentiary or whatever, because I ain't joining no military and y'all done started the shit with this bullshit. Please, I pass on that. Black people don't need to be joining. We need to be training for ourselves.
So why do companies continue to interview when they're on a hiring freeze? I said in my last couple of videos that my biggest prediction for summer of 2023 hiring trends is going to be the hiring freeze. Companies do sometimes continue to interview for several different reasons. In my opinion, none of them are great, but let's jump in. The first and probably most common is because they had already posted the job and started interviewing people before they determined they were going on a hiring freeze. So either A, they thought, we might be going on a hiring freeze, let's keep setting up interview steps to keep this candidate engaged in the process. That way we don't lose them if we do end up getting to hire them. But if they end up going on a freeze, they're not going to tell you they're going on a freeze for the same reason why they may continue to post jobs, to save face, to make it seem like everything's fine, nothing to see here, business is going great. And then finally, they may continue to interview so that when business turns around, their time to fill is a lot shorter because they've got candidates in their hiring pipeline. This is why I really encourage you to ask, is this an immediate need? When do you need somebody to start in this position?
Anyone else get their job offer rescinded this week? So for those of you who don't know, there was a presidential executive order placed that basically placed a hiring freeze for all federal employees. And I thought, technically, and it said vacant. So technically my position's not vacant because I'm filling it. I already have a tentative offer. I was very, very far in the hiring process because how it works is you apply, you interview, then you get a tentative offer, and then you have to do other stuff that I don't think I can really talk about. And then you get a start date. But because I was in the final stages and I did not get a start date on or before January 20th, rescinded. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I have a job. But there are so many people who had nothing and they were really betting on this. And so sad. Reddit, these Reddit threads my boyfriend showed me. I'm so sorry. This sucks.
Okay, but on another note, while we're mid-hiring freeze and all of this craziness that's happening in the government, what are we doing to prepare for the back end of the hiring freeze? So what I expect and I anticipate is retirements are going to happen. There are going to be vacancies. A lot of the jobs that were rescinded are now going to have to be reposted. So what should you be doing right now is making sure that you're staying on top of what the industry is looking for, what federal service is looking for. Get any type of certifications or whatever that you can now to make yourself a little bit more marketable, because now things are going to get tougher. Yeah, like I said before, the whole DEI preference stuff, we don't know what that's going to look like. So make sure that you are making yourself as marketable as you can while you're still in your job to be able to pivot to the next thing that you're looking for.
Walk with me on this one. So the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, it's a branch within the Department of Education, was forced to have a hiring and a travel freeze because of an executive order. I think it's in effect for 90 days. And not only was that executive order signed, many were, right? And another one was basically reversing equal opportunity, basically for employment and things like that. So I told my friend that my thought process is, if they're forced to have a freeze on hiring and travel, well, when the 90 days is up, you also have the restriction of equal opportunity lifted, so you can hire whoever you want. And if you know anything about academia, it's a very place. It's a field. I've talked about my experiences many times over the last few years. It is really rough. I've worked for several people, all, and they made my life hell. It was honestly so terrible. I had to get HR involved many times, actually. And my theory is basically with the restriction lifted. Sorry, I had a flashback. The trauma. Anyway, my theory is basically once the freeze is over and that is lifted, you can fill that space with whoever you want. You're no longer forced to give equal opportunity to people of color. to indigenous people. You know, like, it's just such a different ball game, and it's a dangerous game because, again, if you know anything about academia, it's also a game about connections. I mean, such is life, you know, and like, it's all about who you know. But it is scary because a lot of people in this field also work with marginalized communities. So it's crazy that, you know, we can be put in a position where our own people would not be able to help our own people because it's not, we don't have an equal opportunity. And I saw people basically saying, like, watch me start checking on all these applications and see how my luck changes. You know, because once I show up to that interview, if you bring it up, boom. So anyway, that's my theory.
So I was talking to a friend or whatever about the federal government and the job freeze, the hiring freeze or whatever that's going on. And we were talking about like the application process in general when applying for jobs and all the crazy questions they'd be asking you. It's like, hey, do you have a friend or family member who's an elected official and yada, 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 this, that, and the third. And it's like, bro, what? And so he was like, man, on the federal applications, they always ask you if somebody you know or a family member works for the, an agency or anything like that. And he was like, who the hell knows anybody who works for or has worked for a federal agency? And I was like, well, me, my mom used to work for the CIA. And he was like, what? Your mom used to work for the CIA? And I'm like, yeah, my mom worked for the CIA. I mean, if you come to the house, there's a plaque on the wall with her name on it with her service to the CIA or whatever. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah, as a kid, I mean, it's not something I talk about or whatever, but as a kid growing up, like when my friends and stuff used to come over by the house, they used to see this plaque on the wall and it would say Central Intelligence Agency and it would say my mother's name on it. And it would be like, oh, blah, 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 whatever. And she would have these things that she got from her time in the CIA. And they would be so spooked, Joe. They would be so spooked. My friends would come over. They would talk inside the pillows and stuff like that. They would assume my mom had the whole house wired and bugged and cameraed and everything else. I'm like, bro, it's not even like that. It's not like that. That's what. And then if it's not like that, then what does she do? Explain it. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I never known. She don't even talk about it. We don't talk about it. But she did. She did work for the CIA for some years or whatever, but she doesn't have the house bugged. She's not doing surveillance on the neighborhood or the community. She's not James Bond or Mr. and Mrs. Smith or Carmen Sandiego or nothing like that. At least I don't think. I don't know. But no, she's not that.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Is it just me, or is it kind of ridiculous that we have companies do hiring freezes around the holidays when people are looking for jobs? Like, people probably need a job, they need work, maybe they got laid off, and nobody just contacts you. Like, what's up with that? What happened to the need for work and workers? You tell me.
These companies don't care about that, about any of that whatsoever. So around the holidays, what happens is that they get bonuses for all their hard work, right? So they lay people off and stop hiring around that time for themselves. That is what happens about 95% of the time.
Also, if you're still like actively looking for a job, Department of Defense is still hiring, and Homeland Security. Like, they sent out 4 vacancies for GS 12s and 13s today in my job. So yeah, still look. They still hiring. Everybody else is on a hiring freeze, but Department of Defense and Homeland Security are hiring. So yeah, there you go.
Hey, were you planning on taking a vacation to your favorite national park this summer? Well, you might want to rethink that. Because if you're watching the executive orders, Trump just put a federal hiring freeze on. And if you're not been paying attention to what's been going on, you know that Congress still hasn't put forth a budget. They just keep like doing extensions. We've been this close to government shutdown how many times now? So anyway, it takes money to run your favorite national parks, national forests, national monuments. It takes money. It takes money to keep them toilets open, keep the toilets clean. It takes money to have people to pick up the trash that people leave behind. It takes money to operate the campgrounds. You think that happens by magic? So federal employees are already working without a budget. And now they're finding out that they're probably not going to get their summer seasonal help. A large percentage of the people that run those parks in the summer are seasonal employees. You know who else? A lot of seasonal employees? Firefighters. Wildland firefighters. So that'll be interesting. I mean, I could see potentially a workaround for the firefighters because that's just far too critical. But it's for those of you that think that all these federal employees just sit at home and work for the computer at home, no, I can assure you that plenty of them are out in the field taking care of the places you like to go and recreate. I guess maybe if you can't visit your favorite national park this summer, you could go visit the new Gulf of America and pay like a bunch of money for some high-end resort. I hear that some of the farmers are already freaking out about the potential loss of their migrant workers. So what do we call this era, kids? FAFO, right? You voted. Now you're going to find out. I wonder just how many people did vote against their own interests without even really recognizing it. I can assure you that I work with several in an office that are about to lose their ever-loving minds because there's about to be a lot of people go on the chopping block. Hope they save for a rainy day.
Hey, so I don't know if you heard, but Trump took jobs away from tens of thousands of federal employees today. Me being one of them. I have an environmental related job, and so I knew that my job was probably going to be jeopardized within the next 4 years. I was completely expecting that to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen so soon or in the way that it did. I, along with every other person I know who's working for the National Park Service, received this email this morning. Go ahead and pause it if you need more time to read it. We were told that these jobs that we were offered, we no longer get them. We're not in the middle of the hiring process. We're not in the middle of doing interviews. These are jobs that we were offered, given. We got official offer letters saying, congratulations, you have this job, this is when you're gonna start, and then we just got them taken away. This isn't just the National Park Service, it is like all federal employees. And I guess I don't understand how one person is allowed to make this decision. Because this is devastating for me because this is my dream job. I went to college and got a degree in order to easily get one of these jobs. I dreamed of being a park ranger and I made it happen. People move across the country for federal jobs. A lot of people that I've worked with, most people that I've worked with actually have been from places across the country. This job for a lot of people is more than just a summer job. It is, you're committing to a career. And to just have it taken away like that, just so easily, is just crazy. People who start their jobs in within the next week got this same email. Can you imagine moving across the country and then getting an email that says, just kidding, you can't work anymore? Because one guy decided to be evil? You're telling me that I give my human life, my human hours to the government to work for them. And I do my best because I genuinely enjoy my job. I love being a park ranger. Like I said, it's my dream job. So here I am giving my life to work for the federal government, and they take my job away? When I first saw this, I was like immediately sobbing, and like, because I had a bad feeling that something like this would happen. But again, I didn't think that it would happen so soon or like this. And then I was angry, and now I'm just like shocked. Like, I don't know what to do or say. That is my career. That is my future. That he just, with the sign of a pen, was like, no, these tens of thousands of people don't need jobs. Okay, side note for me who's editing this, because I forgot to say it originally. Also, isn't one of the president's most like important jobs to like create more jobs? Like, I feel like at the end of every president's term, he's always like, I created more jobs than any other president ever has. Like, they boast about it. Like, creating new jobs is a huge thing for presidents to do. But on Trump's first day, he just like got rid of tens of thousands of them. Okay. And I know that this specifically is for like all federal employees, but I do know that like every national park employee is being affected by this right now, and it's not just seasonals, it's also new permanent positions. Hey, guess what? National parks aren't gonna function without the park rangers. They're not. Like, I have saved people's lives just by giving them simple instructions. Like, the national parks need park rangers. And oh my gosh, I'm just so afraid. I'm just so scared. So if you voted for the evil villain that is now our president, you voted away the jobs of tens of thousands of people, maybe even 100,000. I don't know. And hopefully the next time you're in a national park, you don't get lost or have a medical emergency, because there's not going to be anyone to help you. My boyfriend was hired as an EMT. An EMT, he doesn't get the job either. These are like genuinely necessary and serious jobs that are just getting taken away. I don't understand how he is allowed to do that. How can someone have so much power that they can do something so evil that just affects so many people's lives, and it's just like, and we can't do anything about it. The funny thing is too, there were people who would camp in the campground that I worked at, who they had Trump stickers on their trucks and on their RVs and stuff, and it's just like, really? You're here in a national park and you're gonna vote for that man? You're gonna vote for, okay, so you like nature. Oh, so you like camping, you love the national parks, but you're gonna vote for a man who doesn't care if they're here or not? If you know someone or love someone who works for the National Park Service or works for the federal government, check up on them today. They're probably not doing very good. And if you voted for Trump and you know or love someone who works in the federal government, this is unforgivable. This is one of those things that are unforgivable. So, hope you're happy.
Hey, I'm a 1L who's not directly impacted by the federal hiring freeze, but it's impacting everyone around me, and I want to talk about it a little bit because I think people are not taking it as seriously as some of the other executive orders that Trump is issuing right now. I think one of the main issues with this hiring ban is that it's not just on paid positions or diversity positions, it's on all federal positions, both paid and unpaid internships. So people that are the same age as me, as 1Ls, are currently having their interview offers and job offers being rescinded. And 3Ls who have job placements within the federal government after graduation are having their offers rescinded, which is devastating to people. If you know anything about law school and the way that this job process works, a lot of the times the job you have your 1L summer will be the job you have your 2L summer, and then they're going to offer you a position coming out of law school. And for someone like me who doesn't come from a family with money or have a full scholarship on my law school, the ability to work for the federal government provides a really important incentive to erasing my student loan debt and working for public interest, working for the people of our country. It's something that's very deeply important to a lot of my classmates and a lot of lawyers. And we're being prevented from doing that for no discernible reason. I think while I'm not being directly impacted by this because I myself have not applied to any federal positions, it's affecting me personally because of many things. So first I want to talk to you about my little sister, who is a master's student getting a degree in STEM sciences. She's a genius. She's basically her thesis away from graduating. She's so smart. She's worked so hard, and her position and her stipend that pays for her to go to school is funded through the National Institute of Health, which is a federal agency. And because they have also now been put under a freeze, she's not going to be paid. And that freeze is going to happen for 90 days. Not just 30 days, which is, I feel like, a lot more common that we see out of federal freezes. This is an intense, long period of time. Currently, I believe the only positions that aren't on a hiring freeze are judicial internships, and that's because those aren't paid. But I would not be surprised if we somehow saw those extended to those judicial internships as well. I think what's the biggest hurting factor in all of this news is that my parents voted for Trump, and I have very, very conservative parents. I have always had this my whole life. I was like the very first liberal in my family, and it's always been a point of friction within my family in the way that we communicate. But both of my parents do not have college degrees. They are middle class, lower middle class from a low-income area, very rural area, and they just don't have a lot of access to knowledge and school and everything that I've had access to. And I'm so grateful for the education that I've had, and a large part of my education comes off of the labor of my parents. Without the labor of my parents, I would never be where I am today. And that's not to say that my parents have done anything extraordinary in terms of funding my education or providing exceptional, opportunities for me. It's simply just the fact that I would not be here today without them. And I think for a lot of people out there who have conservative fathers, you understand what I mean when I say that they're going to attribute a lot of what you accomplish as coming from their work. My dad in particular has always said that everything he's ever worked, every extra shift, every hour of overtime he's ever picked up has been directly for my benefit, and all of that money has always gone to fund, my special interests, my clubs, whatever. Now, whether that's true or not, I think it's really interesting that as a Trump supporter, you don't see this hiring ban as a slap to the face of all your hard work and your money that you've invested in me as your child, as your student, who is supposed to be going on and getting this higher degree, making money, bettering my family, putting our family in a higher place than we've ever been before. Because no one in my family is a lawyer. This will be the most money that anyone in my family has ever made once I come out of law school. So to me, when I've worked for the federal government, and not just worked for the federal government, served for the federal government, being paid at a poverty level, working years after undergrad to be able to go to law school, to be able to afford it, to make it accessible, easy for me, something that I was ready to go and do, took work from not just me, but it also took work and support from my parents. And the fact that this opportunity has been pulled out from underneath me when I've done nothing wrong, and I don't think there's anything you can point to as a source of wrong. Why are you, as a Trump supporter, not seeing that as a reflection of how he views your work and your value to the government, to the country, and the value that you place in your students and your children? There's a lot of things wrapped up in this, so maybe these connections I'm saying aren't being dictated in the clearest way, but it's a very frustrating, very nuanced issue that I think is going to cause a lot of problems in the coming months. I think additionally, one of my biggest concerns is once the government reopens in hopefully 90 days, how is it going to function? Like, genuinely, because 90 days from now, I think just about everyone I know is going to have a job placement. That's kind of the hiring schedule we're on. Who's going to be open and available to fill these internships? Who is going to be available to even apply, let alone fill them? And how is our federal government going to function without that free unpaid labor of interns in all of the federal agencies and departments in our government? It makes no sense, and I have a lot of concerns.
The government right now is a complete mess. Nobody has any clue what is going on. It is a huge restructuring that is happening right now. A huge one. Nobody knows who is doing what and who is hiring, and it is just a complete mess right now. Just wait and see, I guess.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.